I guess so. Just recently, a couple days ago, interview, from the Life is Strange developers, um, pretty much surfaced on the internet, and they pretty much talk about the end of Life is Strange 2. They talk about Max and Chloe. They talk about the journey from 2015 to 2019, 4 years, and they start saying, Kano or Kano. The episodic format also allows us to make some changes. For example, the flashback at the beginning of episode 3 was meant to be in the beginning of episode 4 in the first draft when Sean was in a coma in the hospital. So basically, this is just talking about the way they wanted to begin episode 4. But we could pretty much skip down. But this is the juicy part, the question. Well, this is probably a big question you probably can't answer. But will we ever see Max and Chloe again, or Sean and Daniel for that matter? He responds, we don't really know what we're going to do now because the game is just released. True, the game just ended. Maybe a couple weeks now we've been out of the whole Sean and Daniel thing. And it says for the next adventure, we don't really know yet, but we have some ideas and stuff we want to explore. But we don't really know what our next game will be, pretty much, right? The thing I can tell you is for us, the story of Max and Chloe in Life is Strange 1 is done. It's told, and the story of Sean and Daniel is told in Life is Strange 2. So maybe we can see them again one day, and it ends there. And then Michael Koch, one of the other creative directors, writers, right? You saw just a bit of Max and Chloe in Life is Strange 2. So definitely, if you're going to work on another Life is Strange, it's a shared universe, so there are possibilities. So this is hinting that since it is a shared universe, at the time in episode 5, Sean and Daniel, they were, in the Grand Canyon, they were there. Max and Chloe also were there, but they left to go to New York. According to David Madsen, they were in New York and they had that phone call, and it's confirmed that, at the time, Max and Chloe are in New York. So, I mean, it's obviously the same universe because, David exists, they all exist. And, but definitely as a full story, he continues on to say, I think those games are both a beginning and an ending for them. And I think we really want to continue to explore new characters, new themes, and new ways of storytelling. That could be a little deceiving, could be, him throwing us off. This is what creative directors usually do. They usually throw little, subliminals or subtle hints at like what could be the story plot. And then to deflect, they kind of say those stories are done and we really want to see, how things will go making a new character. They kind of, they use their words pretty, they're smart when it comes to telling things about their game. Obviously, a creative director is not gonna spill the beans on his next project. They're gonna, if they want to, they feel that they really want to say things, they're gonna give us little subtle hints, and it's up to us to believe whether or not it's gonna happen in the game. And I mean, so far that's the news we've got, and I mean, there's gonna be interviews to come for sure because Life is Strange 2, very amazing, successful game. So I'm sure this isn't the end of the interviews, but yeah. And then so if there is a Life is Strange 3 next, I assume you're likely to approach it in the same way you did with 2, where you have a brand new story, new characters, a new duo or something like that. Yes. And then Kano says, I think it would be a new story. I mean, of course it's going to be a new story, but that doesn't mean that the characters aren't going to return. It just means that the story is, how would I say? The story is just new. Like, it's a new plot. There's going to be new characters, but there could be returning characters. Like I said, they know how to sway their words and, say things that, kind of throw us off the wagon, right? That's just what they do. But you have to, look at what they say, and then you notice how they, deflect right after. It's obvious that, for sure, if they want, it makes sense. Think about it. Fans who love Life is Strange are going to want to see Sean, Daniel, Max, Chloe back, David, right? They're obviously going to want to see all those characters, or at least 1 to 3 of those characters back, right? Because that's how it is with every single game franchise. When there's sequels and prequels, everybody wants to see returning characters. Even though it's not much and it's very subtle, it's very, calm hints, jabs, whatever you want to call it. It's very small, it's very just minute, right? There's nothing big. You can't really go off, what they're saying here. You can't just basically, just say there's gonna be a new game. There will be a new game for sure because it's obviously there's gonna be a new game. The way, the first one, the second one did, it would be like idiotic to not make a third game. So that's not the point. The point is, we're trying to know, like we're trying to know what is like, what is gonna be a third game. I mean, this should be a, amazing trilogy, and I'm pretty hyped. I mean, there's not going to be anything for a while. I know that, and I'm aware of that. And I'm, we'll be patient like we were since, September to all the way next year, December. Very patient. But yeah, it's good to get news like this. I'm hoping we get more. I want you guys to, if you want to comment, make sure you comment down below anything you want. But specifically, if you want to talk about this in this matter, talk about, what would you bring back? Who would you bring back? How would the story go? What type of powers, if there even would be powers, would you go for more like a Life is Strange 1 time travel, or more like a Before the Storm, like Grounded, where it's like just human to human, there's no powers, or would you go for Life is Strange 2, where a little boy has telekinesis? Like which route would you go, or would there be a new power or multiple? Like how would you develop your own Life is Strange? And until then, it's been your boy, and peace out.